I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. The trees say, "Welcome, movie fans, to another episode of Hollow Victories, where we watch movies you don't want to touch with a 39.5-foot pole." I am your host, Matt Presents, joined as always by my Tumblr sexy man co-host.
Hello, I am a seasick crocodile, but you can call me Makal.
And, today we're finishing off the Grinch trilogy. One of them is not an official Grinch movie. But we're finally doing the one last Grinch movie that we haven't covered before. It's the Illumination Grinch versus Illumination's other great Dr. Seuss adaptation, the Lorax.
Yeah, I guess that Illumination's done with those now, aren't they? Because the Cat in the Hat one is going, I forget exactly where it's going to, but it's not Illumination.
It's Warner Brothers. I think Universal had a deal regarding that. Granted, they also didn't do Horton Hears a Who, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know the live action ones were Universal, I remember.
And I do have to say, there might be, blame that goes outside of Illumination here, because Horton Hears a Who feels like, from what I've seen of it at least, I haven't seen the whole thing, granted, it feels like right at home with these two. It's not like that one is, I've heard it's better, but it's not like I've heard it is a lot better.
Yeah, I don't remember it being good. I just remember it not being as terrible as the two Illumination movies. Maybe if the Cat in the Hat movie gets lukewarm reception, we'll do, the Cat in the Hat versus Horton Hears a Who, just to clear out the last remaining Dr. Seuss movies.
Right. I mean, I think it's interesting to talk about, because it is, these characters are interesting. The movie, how they've been adapted into film, for better or worst, has been interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to most Dr. Seuss books. They are better suited for, a 30-minute short film.
I think aspects of the Grinch story really only work if you make it short.
Yeah.
You don't really... I think, how the Who's are portrayed in both movies are, a negative. But they also had the task of having to hold on these guys, where
Right.
The initial story, they're able to get to the point. I was watching some videos on it, and a point that someone brought up that I thought was very interesting was just, in the original story, when they go out and start singing together, they might, there's a chance they didn't even notice that their Christmas was stolen. That's the point, to them, it's they're just so happy the day arrived, and they're not I know I'm already talking about one of these movies, we'll actually get into it, but just to make this one point, there's a chance they didn't even realize they got robbed. I think that's kind of the idea. Maybe they did and they don't care, but both of these, the two movies had to have a scene where they realize they got robbed, and then they're sad, and then they learn not to be sad, and it's I think that's too much. I think it is just the simple message is so much stronger than anything these movies do by extending it.
Yeah. And I mean, I probably shouted this out last time we covered Dr. Seuss, but I'll do it again. When Dr. Seuss was asked to, make a movie, he was like, well, here, I'm gonna write my own new movie because I don't think any of my books should be adapted into movies.
Yeah.
So we have the 5,000 Fingers of Dr. T, as written by Dr. Seuss, and clearly he had a lot of influence on, the art direction of that film.
I still haven't seen that. I wanted to see that after you mentioned it last time.
I might do it for movie night someday.
Cool.
That's the true best Dr. Seuss movie.
Do we want to real quickly, before we get into the movies? I gave us props for this last night, and I stand by it. Despite doing a bad movie podcast for over 4 years now, we have laid off on Illumination this whole time. I feel like there's a lot of people who would have done this show and covered Illumination within one of their first few episodes because of how, universally hated by at least film snobs it is. I think general audiences typically like Illumination.
I think mainstream audiences are pretty indifferent to Illumination. Maybe with, the exception of the Minions, who were, horrifically oversaturated.
What do you think is their best movie, and what do you think is their worst movie?
Their best movie is unquestionably the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and I'll reiterate what I said when it came out. I don't know how much of that success I attribute to them versus, Nintendo And I even kind of agree with what you said, where maybe Nintendo went with Illumination because they knew they were going to get a lot less pushback from Illumination and could just make what they actually wanted.
Yeah, like if they tried to go with Disney, like what I honest to God, Disney's honestly the only reason I would ever imagine Disney is because of shit like Wreck-It Ralph. But if they went with Disney, I think it would have been like a battle between the two, you know?
Right, and I think Illumination doesn't care that much.
I think
And so
Illumination saying
Nintendo
we
can
get
kind of
Mario,
just get their
do whatever
way.
you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Just let us put one of our shitty dog characters in there, and you've got yourself a deal.
I mean, I think the reason we kind of haven't covered them is, like, when we were starting this show is when Illumination was, like, falling out of, like, the public light. Because the reason people hated on it so much was because it was just fucking everywhere. They over-advertised the shit out of their movies. This Grinch movie we're about to talk about, I saw a trailer for it before Deadpool 2, which came out in, like, May, and I'm like, not only is that a Christmas movie, this is an R-rated movie. Why are you showing me a trailer for The Grinch? But, like, I think it was so ubiquitous in the 2010s, and so became a really easy target for, people like us, people who are mocking bad movies, and it's like, and once the 2020s rolled around, honestly, I think it starts more in, like, 2019 with, like, Spider-Verse and, like, animation companies actually, like, giving a shit again. And also, it's come with a marked decline in the amount of, like, Illumination advertisement. Like, I have seen a lot fewer Illumination advertisements. They had a movie last year that was called, like, Migration. I saw, like, a few ads for it, but it was not shoved in my face, and I never heard anyone talk about it.
Right. I mean, they've been, and I mean, that's almost better than being like, I mean, I guess in terms of like reception, it wasn't mocked really either from what I heard. But at the same time, I mean, Minions was, as much as people shit on it, like, it was a hit, was it not? Like, I mean, I think it did.
Yeah.
It did really well. They're good. It's a studio that's good at making money, for sure.
Yeah, the movies made money, and that was all that mattered to Illumination, and that's, again, part of the problem people had with Illumination.
I got a kick out of watching videos shitting on Illumination just because I watched so many film review channels at the time. Like, again, that did focus on bad movies, but I will say my overall reception of Illumination was always just like, I haven't seen most of it. I saw Despicable Me, which I enjoyed. It's been a long time, but I remember I watched it when it was their only movie,
Yeah.
But I liked it.
It was
I
fine.
saw Mario Bros. In theaters, and I had fun with it. My biggest critique of that movie would just be soundtrack and voice cast and choices. Not that every pick was bad, but a lot of them were. And then I saw Sing, which is whatever. It's like I think it's lazy. I don't think it's terrible. I just think it's a lazy movie.
It's one of their better movies.
I agree.
And
what I've
seen. That's even coming from someone who hasn't seen a lot of their movies. I have deliberately avoided a lot of their movies, but I have seen, I mean, now I've seen The Grinch. I hated the Lorax. I've seen Hop. I was pretty indifferent to Hop. I have heard people really, really hate on that movie, and I'm prepared to let them. I don't remember it well enough to say one way or the other.
I watched Shea Frilla's ranking video of Illumination like a night or two ago, just because I was like, oh, I'm on this Illumination binge. Not really. I watched 2 of their movies, but I'm like, let's see what he thinks of these. And I think Hop was his like last place. And that was even one where he started with the best movie and worked his way down to the worst. So yeah, I haven't seen Hop, but it does look like something I would probably not get a lot of joy out of watching. The only other movie I saw aside from those prior to this episode was The Lorax, and I'm ready whenever you are.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about The Lorax. So The Lorax, released in 2012, tells the story of a boy played by Zac Efron who has a crush on a girl played by Taylor Swift. The girl wants to see a tree, and Zac Efron learns from his Betty White grandmother that the only place to learn about trees is from the Onceler who lives outside town. So he sneaks out of town, much to the chagrin of the wealthy businessman who runs the town, Mr. O'Hare. I forget his first name. O'Hare, O'Hare. My name's O'Hare. So he goes out and talks to the Onceler, and the Onceler tells him this story of how after chopping down a tree chopping down a tree awakens the ancient evil known as the Lorax, who comes to speak on the tree's behalf. Mr. Onceler, he decides, yeah, okay, I'll not chop down any more trees. But then the Thneed gets really popular, and his family gets involved in the business, and they're like, actually, I think you should chop down trees. So he does. He chops down all of the trees, and all of the air is poisoned, and O'Hare takes over with his bottled air. But then at the end, the Onceler gives the kid a seed so that he can, plant a tree and save the world, I guess. Michael, I know the answer to this, but what did you think of the Lorax?
I can kind of understand people who say that they watch this as a so bad it's good movie. It's one that's become funny to them, partially because of meme culture. Because I think Shark Tale's funny. I get it. Lorax and Shark Tale feel similar in the regards of them being animated kids films with a lot of really terrible decision making that leads into there's a lot of shit post material. I love the fucking video of it's O'Hare, but his it's Let It Grow, but O'Hare is way more convincing, and when he sings his Let It Die portion, the entire crowd starts singing Let It Die their mind was swayed that easily. But I gotta give all of that credit to the people who took this piece of shit and did something fun with it, because I think this is I'm just gonna say it, this is last place for me now. I genuinely ranked this lower than The Last Airbender. This movie just annoys the fucking shit out of me. And it almost feels a little harsh to do that to something like this. It's it's a kid's film. My friend Cass always makes a good point that we should expect better of movies that are aimed at kids. And I'm going to especially say something like The Lorax, where there is it's an environmental message. It's not the most original thing, but it is a deeper message than a lot of Dr. Seuss's work is. I think it was a pretty mature story for Seuss to do, and I think it can leave a really strong impact if someone sees it at a young age. And if they see this version, I actually think that this movie is I'd go as far as to say it's something I don't think a kid should watch. I think it is a very insincere piece of media that gets confused with the message, and there's just so many things I can point at. I genuinely could point at a million things this movie does wrong.
I would certainly steer my own child away from it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. But I think part of that is that I just think kids won't like it.
Yeah, some of my complaints against this movie would probably just seem really nitpicky, but it's really, they just add up. I hate everything about it. There's big things I hate about it, and then there's small things I hate about it.
I don't fully agree with you that it's the worst thing we've watched for the show, although there's maybe a point in time where I would have. I really hated this movie in high school. I thought this was just the most unoriginal slop I had ever seen. This is everything wrong with the Hollywood system as it exists. And I mean, to an extent, I think that's true. I think this is the very worst tendencies of Hollywood on display here. But I was also 16, 17 when this movie came out, so I was the perfect age for looking down my nose at it.
Sure.
I still don't think it's very good. I still think it's one of the worst things we've watched, but I'd still definitely rank it above Last Airbender. I think it's better than Planes or Space Jam 2 even.
Here's the thing, is it objective? Because here's the thing, is it objectively worse than everything we've watched on the show? No, it's but here's the thing. I asked the question while we were watching this, especially when comparing it to Last Airbender. So what is worse? And I think this is a very subjective idea. I think different people have different answers for this. something that is just a complete lost cause, there's not a single good thing about it, or something that the potential was alive because of some of the people that worked on it, and they got completely sabotaged by the studio. Because when I look at this movie, I see some nice presentation in certain scenes, I hear a nice score in certain scenes. There's even a scene in the movie I like. There's a scene where when the Lorax first shows up, they have a funeral for the tree. I like that scene. It's actually got a touching moment. But all of it is like thrown out the door by just terrible decision making, and all of it is decision making that was made by some fucking studio head that like was afraid the story wouldn't be enough on its own. So it's like, no, we need to throw in this boy and his love interest, and we have to cut back to this town so they remember they exist. We got Zac Efron and Taylor Swift. Where it's not like we can't just not use them, and it's like every decision they make hurts the story. And it's like this could have been really straightforward. I actually think the Lorax would be an easier story to adapt into a feature film than the Grinch, because you can show this like slow descent. You can show like this, Onceler character, and how I was kind of okay with them showing his face in this, so they could like kind of show him getting like more old and jaded and start to regret his decision making. They don't really get into that until the "How Bad Can I Be" song. And then after that song, it's like the Lorax going away. Like, the pacing of this movie is fucking terrible.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, there's the whole... He stops in the middle of his story so the kid can go back to town and have, like, this dramatic moment with, like, O'Hare and all them. And it's like, this is a waste of time. And then you get later in the film and it's, like, completely rushed.
Yeah. Yeah,
it is a complete failure of storytelling.
And it was in service of fucking nothing. It's like, oh, we can have scenes with this kid riding his bike that's probably polluting the air in this anti-pollution movie, and he's the hero. We have this love interest that isn't gonna go fucking anywhere because she's way older than him, and it would be inappropriate if it did. We have the embarrassing mom character that's every fucking joke that you've seen in another kid's movie before. Every single fucking idea that this movie has is lame, and then anything from the original source material that actually could make for an interesting movie, they just completely fuck up. I don't think Danny DeVito as the Lorax is a bad casting choice at all. In fact, I think the scene where he goes away and he has like this really serious line delivery, I think it's well executed. It's so unearned. That's my issue, is like I'm watching that scene and I'm seeing the potential. I think in that scene, if way more time had passed, the Onceler was older and he was regretting his like a life of bad decision making that led to this, I think that scene actually could have had like a pretty strong impact.
Well, and I mean, just to compare it to, like, the original Lorax, there's a part where, like, the Onceler talks to himself, and
yeah.
it's like, the two arguments, the, like, oh, I feel kinda bad for this, and then the side that's like, oh, I was just doing it, for the business. It's all business, And I think that's a lot smarter than having his, like, stupid-ass family show up, and they're the ones that push him into doing all the bad stuff.
It's like they didn't want the Onceler to be a bad guy. They wanted like, oh, he was the Tumblr sexy man, as you said. They wanted him to be this character that everybody really liked. Oh, and he's voiced by Ed Helms. By the way, Zac Efron and Ed Helms were both too old to voice the characters they got. Like, it doesn't work at all. Yeah, I do like how in the original story he's like kind of aware that what he's doing is wrong, but he's also desperately trying to justify it. And once he can justify it to himself, he's like, yeah, okay. And that's how a lot of people are. And the Onceler isn't even really. I'm okay with them making that change for this movie since it is feature length, and the way the Onceler's written in the book is better for a short story. So I'm okay with them making him more of a character, but the Onceler, part of the reason they don't show his face is because he's not really supposed to be a character as much as he's supposed to be a reflection of just humanity as a whole. Like, anyone could be this guy. Hell, a lot of people are this guy. Not one individual person is destroying the planet, but they frame it in a way to where it still works within the story, But in this one, it's like, no, one guy did just destroy the planet. It misses the point. It misses the point of fucking everything. And you're right, bringing the family in was awful. And like, Mike, I think they have like the worst jokes in the movie. It has that clip they played in the fucking trailer nonstop. It is
That's
awful.
A woman?
It is awful. I'm so annoyed by every fucking attempt at comedy in this movie. I hate those fucking fish and their high-pitched singing,
nice.
and they're doing Mission Impossible. Fuck off.
I don't know if there's a single funny joke in this movie. Maybe, okay, O'Hare is kind of funny. I think O'Hare is kind of
I
funny.
think he is funny because ironic like web humor. I don't think he's funny on his own.
I think he has a funny character design. I think Rob Riggle gives a funny performance. I don't know that he has any specific joke I think is funny. I just kind of think he
Just the
is
look and
funny as a
voice.
character.
Sure. Yeah, it's just a super annoying movie to me. And is it like objectively the worst thing we've talked about? No, but because I feel bad for some of the people who worked on this, especially songwriters. The song I bring this up all the time when we talk about this movie. The song "Biggerin" was a song that was made for the movie that you can listen to online, but it was taken out of the movie, and it was like so much fucking better than anything that made it in this movie. I genuinely like "Biggerin," but they thought it was too aggressive, and that's one thing that we gotta like definitely. It's actually more outrageous than the Grinch, I think. But like the fucking Illumination trying to clean up these stories that were made for kids. Like you don't have to like why are you going so fucking lighthearted with these? These stories are already relatively lighthearted versions of like I get it. It's like there's harsh themes in them, but they were done in a way that was appropriate for children, You don't have to clean it up even more. Biggerin should have been fine to keep in the movie. So
Yeah.
it's weird. It's just weird. I do think the Grinch is a worse case because the Grinch is, with the Lorax, I can at least say it's like, yeah, it's one of the heavier Dr. Seuss stories. I think a kid can watch it and read that just fine. I think a little kid can watch that and read that just fine. But it's one of the heavier stories, so I guess I get it. I don't agree with it, but I guess I understand the mindset. The Grinch, what the fuck? What are you doing?
And that's I get that you're saying that there's good stuff in there and that almost makes it worse because the studio has like ruined those elements, but to me it's like okay, but there's good elements in there, and I look at something like Last Airbender and I'm like, what's good about this? The sets? That's it.
I'm just not
a,
as annoyed by Last Airbender.
I think I am. I think I'm a little more annoyed by Last
That's
Airbender.
fair. That's fair. I don't expect people to agree with me on that take. The Lorax is just one that rubs me the wrong way. A lot of it is stuff that happened in real life, too. Like, I think that I look at The Last Airbender and I see one of Shyamalan's responses to it was saying he was like, he apologized. He said he was genuinely trying to entertain and he messed up. And I don't, like, Shyamalan is an interesting director. I think that he, at the very least, probably cares about what he's making, even if he does a piss poor job sometimes. I just look at it and I look at that fucking Lorax approved joke that they had the self-awareness to make a joke in the movie, but didn't have a self-awareness when they did it in real life, when they used the Lorax to promote a car. I think that's what I mean when I say it's the least sincere thing I think I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, I get that too. I also, like, I think there's the argument that, like, Last Airbender, for what it's worth, it's Shyamalan's movie. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure he received some studio notes about it, but, like, it's Shyamalan's movie. This was a movie that was, like, dismantled piece by piece by the studio.
It's like... It feels like The Cat in the Hat is like the opposite. The Cat in the Hat feels like a movie that, when it got made, the studio wasn't paying enough attention to what they were doing. And then the day where they finally saw it, they were fucking horrified. Where the Lorax is something that was being heavily monitored. Like, every single decision just feels like some studio note.
Yeah. No, it's a studio film, and it's one of the most, like, hackneyed, low-hanging fruit, low-effort studio movies there is. I think not only is it like a complete studio movie, the studio is not even a good studio.
No. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it is my least favorite thing that we've talked about on the show. And I'm sorry that gives my vote away. I do that sometimes. I make it very obvious where my vote's going sometimes, but sometimes I have to. Like, sometimes it's gonna come out one way or the other, so here you go.
No, I do think it's one of the worst things we've watched. I think I have it very low. I have it bottom 10.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about who's in this, because Mr. Danny DeVito is coming very close to, like, being Hollow Victories royalty. This is his fourth appearance.
Yeah.
In My Little Pony, he's in Space Jam, he's in Haunted Mansion, and now he's in this. That's 4 Danny DeVito movies.
Yes, it is.
He is a good casting choice for the Lorax, but then they don't do anything funny with him.
I think the jokes from the Lorax are like they're really annoying. He's a very annoying character, but it's it's not like it would have been better if they gave it to someone else. I think Danny DeVito, when he had to deliver a sincere line, he did a good job.
Yeah.
I like the Lorax's talk with him before he leaves. Oh, you know what's another fucking stupid thing about this movie? Now that it's on my mind, I'm sorry. The fucking ending where it's like, it's supposed to leave like the kid gets the seed, and it's kind of like hope for humanity. But no, it's just a 15-minute chase scene climax where he plants the tree, all the trees come back, and then the fucking Lorax comes back too. It's like, god damn. You guys really didn't give a shit about the story that you're trying to adapt. You really didn't.
But we gotta have a happy ending.
Oh, man. It should have been obvious it was going to go that way, though, from, like, the first, like, all of the town scenes that they were going to go that route.
That chase scene is, like, the best part of the movie.
Like,
it's so pointless.
I get what you mean.
It's so pointless. It adds nothing to the movie, but, like, it's well animated. It's like one of the best animated things that Illumination has made, frankly. That's the thing. This has way more energy in the animation than a lot of their output. Certainly more than the Grinch.
Yeah. The Grinch has, like, one scene that I thought was kind of fun, but the Grinch is not, like, it's not good.
Yeah, no, this is, like, a much bouncier, cartoonish movie. Which is weird, because it's, like, kind of the less cartoony story.
Yeah. There's some things we could talk about the animation of the Grinch, too, aside from just, like, cartooniness, because it's, like, sometimes you don't want to have the over-the-top cartoonish animation. Sometimes you want animation that reflects a character and how they should move.
Get there when we get there.
Yeah.
Let's stay on the Lorax for the moment.
Yeah.
Ed Helms, as you said, probably too old to be the Lorax. Or to be the Onceler.
I like Ed Helms fine. I think he sucks in this.
That's a completely fair assessment.
I enjoyed him on The Office. I actually thought he, like, voice acting wise, I thought he did a good job as Captain Underpants. Like, he was like, his voice works for that character. But I do not like him in this. And I see that character and I do not picture Ed Helm.
It's such a, like, this is such a 2010s movie, and that character in specific is like, they just, that was like the style in 2012. You know, this is what all the hot e-boys were dressing like.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Zac Efron making a return appearance in the same year. Like two pretty big roles in the same year. He was also in Dirty Grandpa.
I think Zac Efron was the worst one in this. Because he's like, Taylor Swift wasn't good either, but she only has a few scenes.
Yeah, I feel like Zac Efron was the wrong choice from this character from the start, and he's not really giving the character the energy he deserves. And also, I kind of don't like this character that much, even.
No, I don't like him at all.
So it's just kind of bad all around. Like it's the wrong performance for a character I already don't like. Taylor Swift is weird because like they didn't even give her a song. Like why would you have Taylor Swift in your movie with songs in it and not give Taylor Swift a song?
Yeah, she doesn't even sing in Let It Grow, I don't think. I remember I always heard the song and I felt like the female voice singing was her, but I think that's actually Jenny Slate. I don't think she's one of the characters who has a verse in that song. It might be, maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but yeah, like it's weird.
No, I don't think she sings at all in this movie. She will be back if I can ever find something to pair up with cats. That is the one and only way she will be back on this show. Or if she's in some bad movie in the future.
There's gotta be some sort of like Broadway pair up we could do.
Yeah. I don't know.
I heard the Phantom of the Opera movie wasn't great, although I will say Phantom of the Opera and Cats are going to be two weird things to compare. But we've done weirder.
Sure.
Betty White as Grammy Norma. I mean, I love Betty White, but I hate this character.
Yeah. No, this character, we've seen this character 100 times in kids' movies. Some of them, I think, probably played by Betty White.
Who voiced the grandma in
Oh,
Hoodwinked?
she's old, but she's cool. Oh, who was the grandma in Hoodwinked?
Glenn Close.
Yeah.
At least with the grandma in Hoodwinked, it was like a big part of the character, and like, you know, like, and her being exposed as someone who does that was part of the story.
I also think they were a little quicker to it than the Lorax. Like, I'm sure they were not the first ones to do radical granny joke, but like, it was less of a cliche then, I think.
Yeah, whenever I see it nowadays, it really does just strike me as like every studio has like a joke book of like 50 jokes that every movie uses, and the radical granny is one of them. Because whenever I hear someone like, whenever I see a movie do that, it's like, you didn't even come up with that. Like, I get that sometimes similar jokes make it into movies, but it's also like, I normally I can believe that they came up with that on their own, and it's just a coincidence. Because it feels like a very believable joke that more than one person could come up with. But whenever it's like, yeah, we've talked about a lot of these in the past, but like the radical granny is like, yeah, that is a default joke. That's what I'll call it. That is, you don't know what to do, so you're gonna do something that's like has been done a million times, and act like you're being unique.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would have done the voice better. I think Betty White did as good as that character could get.
Yeah. No, I mean, she's an appropriate choice for the radical granny character. Stephen Tobolowsky plays one of the Onceler's uncles, and it is his return appearance. He also faced off with the other fat orange character, Garfield, because he was the villain who hates lasagna.
Bastard.
Incidentally, you know what movie he was also in?
What's that?
Spaceballs, which this film blatantly rips off.
Which joke did they take from Spaceballs again?
It's the canned air. The canned air is like a Spaceballs joke. Also, there's like an airplane joke. Like everyone's lining up to like heckle this kid, and there's like the nun like getting ready to like hurt him, and it's like this is just like an Airplane. You stole that joke from Airplane. That was why I hated this movie so much in high school. I'm like, you stole all these jokes. Like, none of the jokes in this movie are so bad. I will not defend a single one of I don't think I laughed even once at this movie. But
even the Grinch got me. And it didn't get me a lot, but even the Grinch fucking got me.
Yeah, there were laughs in the Grinch.
And there really wasn't a lot, I want to be clear, but I remember at least once or twice laugh. I remember one of the jokes that made me laugh, so I can give it that.
It appears Stephen Tobolowsky was also in Country Bears, which sounds correct.
Alright, yeah, he's got a couple of these on his belt.
Yeah.
Jenny Slate.
I don't really get why Jenny Slate is the mom in this. She doesn't have that much of a mom voice, I don't think.
She has a funny voice, and they're trying to make the mom a quirky, embarrassing mom, so I guess that's probably it. Jenny Slate, if you look at her filmography, I love Jenny Slate, but my god, she is like buddy with Illumination. She is in so many of these. Like, she's in all of the Secret Life of Pets movies. She was in Despicable Me 3. Like, she's in a lot. She's in a lot of Illumination. She's also just in a lot of bad stuff. But it's always, but whenever you have like the project she's more attached to, it's like Obvious Child or Marcel, it's like always really good stuff.
Yeah, no, she's in a lot of good movies and also quite a lot of bad movies.
The thing is, she has a funny voice. Like she when she was on SNL for like 1 year, I really liked her, but she always did like these really over the top voices. Like I think that, you know, and now as she got more recognition, I think a lot of people were just like, oh yeah, well, we're making an animated like kids film. Use Jenny Slate; she'll do something funny. You know, I think that's all it is. But it's because she is a good voice actor too. I'm very impressed by the voice that she does for Marcel. But it's also just like, yeah, a lot of the times it feels like a lack of direction. It feels like a lot of people don't know how to use Jenny Slate.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's nothing. Her character's pretty annoying in this. Did not like quirky mom. Rob Riggle, you mentioned as O'Hare. I agree with you. It's a fit-in voice for him. I'll give you that. I will give you that.
Yeah, I think it's the best performance of the film. Like even better than Danny DeVito as the Lorax, because I actually find O'Hare amusing.
Hmm. I'll give you that. I'll switch my answer to Rob Riggle. I get what you mean. Danny DeVito, like, I don't think it's his fault, but the Lorax does actively annoy me in the scenes he's in.
Yeah.
Where O'Hare doesn't really annoy me. The concept of him existing annoys me. The fact that this movie has a villain annoys me. Especially a villain that's disconnected from the Onceler.
Yeah, I feel like the Onceler is like supposed to be the villain, a sympathetic villain, but like he is the bad guy of this story. So throwing O'Hare in is like, why? But like, whatever.
Yeah, it's just a complete lack of care.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like I feel like it has all been said before. Like I every bad thing that has ever been said about the Lorax, most of it I'm sure is true, right? It's bad at storytelling, it's not funny. They mess up a lot of the original story. Even the original story I have some problems with. I think it's weird that he cuts down all of the trees that he needs to make the needs and doesn't plant any new ones. And it's like, see, the problem here is like your closest allegory in real life is like the logging industry, but the logging industry plants way more trees than they cut down because they need that to make money. The cause of
Yeah,
deforestation is like farms and like urbanization.
they don't even like come up with a good reason in the movie because it's the family saying like, "Oh, it's hard trimming the cotton off the trees." And then you see what they're doing and they're just taking one piece of cotton off at a time, and I get it's a joke, but it's like no, it's a way it'd be way harder to fucking chop the trees down and then collect it and then it doesn't grow back. Like yeah, it's just I know that's the point, but it's like they're so fucking stupid.
Yeah. No,
Of course that was gonna happen. Also, is this like forest the only place on the planet that has trees in it? In the story, a big part of it is that they start bringing on more employees. You know, like it becomes a bigger industry. And in this, it's just him and his family the whole time. That's one of the ways the Onceler justifies it in the original story, is he's keeping people working, he's keeping people employed, which is a very real argument people will make for doing horrible things to the world.
Yeah.
Also, Jimmy Neutron was in this movie.
Yeah, additional voices Debbie Derryberry.
I think it's her first time.
I'm sure she's done additional voices for something else too.
I'm looking at it. I don't.
Maybe not.
If it is, it's not on her Wikipedia, but honestly, for a lot of voice actors, their IMDb is the place to go.
I'm looking and I don't see anything. She was in Wreck-It Ralph, but that was out of the ring. She wasn't in Wreck-It Ralph 2. But yeah, additional voices, Debbie Derryberry. The Lorax is bad in all of the ways you have heard. Do you want to talk about the Grinch?
Yeah, let's talk about the Grinch. So, the Grinch was released in 2018. It was directed by Yarrow Chaney and Scott Moiser. Or Mossier, I don't know how to say it. But, and it is a retelling of the short story The Grinch, the second retelling we're getting of it in a feature film, about where, you know, it's the Grinch, he hates Christmas, he's nasty to everyone, and he tries to steal it because it bothers him so much. But then after he steals it, he sees the Who's aren't bothered by it. His evil plan did not work, so his heart grows 3 times and he returns everything. Except in this one, they kind of forgot to make the Grinch a bad person. He's like kind of a dick to the Who's, but he kind of, for the most part, stays away from them. And then he loves Max. He's very kind to Max. He loves other animals too. He just kind of looks annoyed most of the time.
He's a little mischievous, but he's definitely the nicest Grinch we've encountered.
He looks like me watching the Lorax, rather than someone who wants to steal a holiday from an entire civilization of people. And yeah, it's just a really bland and unnecessary retelling. There's like, I guess the big thing this movie adds is Cindy Lou, whose focus is she wants a wish, not even a gift. She wants a wish to make her mom's life easier, which they kind of forget to conclude at the end. But hey, it's only the second half of the movie. Who is worried about that?
The Grinch helps her with like two things at the very end
I'm not
of
counting.
the movie.
I'm not counting that. That wasn't enough for how
And I
for
mean,
how that took up half of the fucking movie. I'm not giving them that.
no, I understand. I think more the point of it is that it's what convinces the Grinch to not steal Christmas. It's what convinces the Grinch that stealing Christmas was wrong.
Uh huh.
But like,
Sure.
they also don't give it a conclusion.
Yeah, I don't think they do a good job concluding it at the very least. Matt, what did you think of the Grinch?
It's fucking nothing, man. Like, this is such a nothing movie. It's if you want to watch The Grinch, there's a perfect version. It's 30 minutes. If you want to watch a feature film about The Grinch, there's already the Jim Carrey one. And I don't think the Jim Carrey one's like super good or anything, but it's like 10 times better than this. Like, this is nothing. This is like the most sauceless shit I have ever seen.
It's really boring.
It's really boring. It doesn't have nearly as much energy as like the Lorax, let alone, the original Grinch. It's like some of the most simple, like understated animation. The story is bland as hell. I mean, they even
Yeah.
like okay, in the Jim Carrey Grinch, they add like a backstory for the Grinch for why he like doesn't like Christmas. And it's cuz you need like more of a story if you're gonna be making this like an hour and a half long movie. But they actually like spend time on it and develop it in that movie. In this movie, they're just like, he was at an orphanage and didn't get adopted. That's it. It's
Yeah.
like it gets like less than 5 minutes. I think it is focused on less than 5 minutes.
It's like it's still a little bit confusing too, because you're looking at this orphanage scene and it's like you you're throwing too much at us. You gotta like either you just don't need this and you can leave us past a mystery like the original short did, or you need to fucking elaborate a little bit like the live action one did. You can't do neither, you know? You ruin the mystery element by showing the orphanage, but by also like was he like there's no one else in the orphanage with him in the flashback. There it's like who's to say that an orphanage wouldn't celebrate Christmas, you know? What's this town seems very welcoming. It's not like they shunned him away when he was like standing out there. It seems like he probably would have been welcomed inside.
That's the thing, like, the Who's have a completely different relationship with him in this one than they do in the other two. In the original Grinch, they don't seem to have a relationship with him. They don't even seem to notice he exists. And then in the live action Grinch, they're all scared of him.
Yeah, like, and the Grinch is like such a cold-hearted bastard towards them because he has the fucking right to be in that movie.
Right.
Because they're all fucking horrible to him. There's that scene where he goes to the party with them, and he actually starts to have a pretty good time. He, like, starts to kind of warm up to the idea, and then his bully in school, like, who's now the mayor, gives him a razor as a gift, like, basically tell him to go fuck himself. And he has a negative reaction to that, which is what causes him to, you know, kind of switch back over. Where in this story, there's people who want to be friends with him, and even the people who he fucks over and like does mean things to don't give him like much of a mean reaction back. They're just like, oh, that's not very nice.
It's so sanitized. It's so sanitized. Like, he's not mean enough, and then the Who's are all like, oh, we love you, Mr. Grinch. We don't even care that you're mean to us a little bit.
Yeah, like the Kenan Thompson character, he's like his motivation for being the way he is and the town's actions don't coincide well. It doesn't add up, you know? He's being a fucking whiny bitch. But even then, he's like, yeah, you're right. Like, if they would have just made him a fucking asshole in the movie, then it would have been closer to the original. And it's like, yeah, because like the point of the story is he is the one who's in the wrong. Yes. The live action one gets a little bit more confusing because it's like the Grinch is kind of right to hate these people because they're fucking horrible. But it at least communicated something different. You know, it at least, it's it's a less superior way to communicate it, but it's also like it did it. This movie's just really confusing, and I think it's what you're it is what you're saying with it being sanitized. They're afraid to do anything with it. They were afraid to make the Grinch look mean. They wanted him to look cute.
I said to you in the first Despicable Me movie, Gru is a meaner character than the Grinch is in this movie. Like, he is not even on the level of Gru in Despicable Me 1.
I don't think he's on the level as the fucking Onceler in the Lorax movie.
I mean, he doesn't get a sick-ass song. I'll tell you what he does get. Fucking Tyler, the Creator, coming in at, like, the most awkward... It's in the beginning of the movie, when, like, he's not doing anything yet. That's supposed to be, like, the big climatic song for when he's, like, doing his evil shit.
Yeah, no, 100%. In this, he really doesn't... he really doesn't do anything. He's just getting ready. The grossest thing he does is he puts deodorant on that looks like it smells bad. Like, that's it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, there's sequences in the movie where he is, like, doing meaner stuff. I mean, even just, you know, what he was doing in the original film, stealing Christmas, that's when you play that song, not over the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, and I also have to say, like, the song, like, that's playing actually contradicts some of the details on screen, because, you know, they keep in the line about how fucked up his teeth are and how gross they are. He has perfect white teeth in the movie. Like, it doesn't even, like, because, again, they were afraid of making this guy look like, they were, like, again, they're trying to clean up something that was already child-friendly.
Yeah.
At the store I work at, we have products around the holidays with the Grinch on it. They use the fucking Grinch on it. It's not something that has to be cleaned up. It's not something that's too much for kids to handle.
Oh, God. I woke up this morning and I opened my notes app, and the only note I have from last night is Grinch pants. Because it upset me so much. He wakes up in a pair of underwear, and I'm like, but the Grinch doesn't wear pants. He's, like, naked. And then he goes and he puts on a pair of pants that just look like his legs. And that bothers me a lot.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
It's a visual gag that doesn't get a laugh.
It just upsets me. It just confuses me. I mean, at least it has the decency to upset me. The rest of this movie doesn't even have that.
Yeah, it really is just a dull watch.
No, it's fucking nothing. I felt nothing watching this movie. I may have, like, laughed at one joke, and I might have, like, rolled my eyes at some stuff. But overall, I was just like, well, that sure is the least interesting version of the Grinch I have ever seen.
Yeah, it is a really boring movie. Like, and I will say, like, that is something that, like, someone could argue the Lorax has over it. At least it's, like, interesting bad. I can't give it that just because...
I think the Lorax
again, I'm going with the one that annoys me more.
I don't think the Lorax is as boring, but I do think the Lorax is a little bit boring.
It's not super interesting, honestly. But it's a way more infuriating movie, where this movie doesn't really, like, infuriate me. It's just, like, I don't know. There was a joke that made me laugh in the movie. It's just, like, when the Grinch is, like, he goes back up to his house after buying food at the store, and then he's sitting at his table, and he has, like, this really long table separating him and Max, and it's just such a quick little joke where it's like, okay, that actually did kind of make me laugh. Like, just why would he, like, even, like, though him and his dog are the only people in that house, he still feels the need to have a table separating them that far. But even then, that's, like, it's a good joke, but then you realize it's, like, even out of character, because he doesn't dislike Max in this.
Yeah, he's very nice to animals in this movie.
And if they wanted to go that soft side route, I said this a lot last night, I'd still say don't do it, because it's the fucking Grinch, and he's supposed to be a piece of shit, and you're supposed to love to hate him. So it's still a bad idea regardless. But if you were going to go that route, like, we just want to make something different about him. Oh, and you want to say he has a soft spot for animals. People don't want to see, you know, it's a new era. People don't want to see someone being that mean to their dog anymore. It's like, fine, whatever. I disagree, but whatever. But yeah, at least need to have him acting like a Grinch towards the Who's, because he barely does anything with them. He barely interacts with them. Honest to God, in the original short, you are seeing him be mean, like more mean to Max than anyone. There's a famous Doug Walker clip. I don't even know if it's actually famous, but I've seen people post it around on Twitter as just like people saying like, wow, Doug Walker actually making a good point. Because I mean, I think Doug does know stuff about animation pretty well. And it's a clip from, I think, his review of this movie where he is saying like, he's talking about the different movements of the characters. Like, and it's like how the Grinch has like more of a slow and old man and grumpy walk style, while Max's is a bit more peppy, but it's also, he's a very anxious character too, because he's afraid of, pissing the Grinch off. And then Cindy Lou, who's like a toddler who's like stumbling on her steps, like she can't walk normal. Because she's so young. And it's like, yeah, and you watch it, it's like, yeah, and in this movie, every single character moves exactly the same.
Yeah.
They're all this really bumpy, jokey animation, and it goes right in line with how much they're trying to sanitize the Grinch.
Yeah, I mean, I also maybe chalk that up to, like, Illumination kind of being lazy with their animation. Like, this is a notorious like criticism of Illumination, is that a lot of their animation is really lazy.
They're normally pretty good, because I agree, they're normally pretty good with like texture and color, to where it's like appealing to the eye, and a lot of people see that and like, oh, it's good animation. But then when you actually, like, the devil's in the details, and when you look at the details of these movies, either it's lazy and or it's not doing anything that spectacular, or it is like flat out, you actually start to see the holes in it. Like, Sing has been, heavily criticized for its frequent reuse of characters in the background. You'll see the same character in the background of shots, like in the same shot. There's this one shot of them showing, like, someone uploaded to YouTube. It might have been I Hate Everything, of it just scrolling through this line, and you see the same alligator character in the shot like 6 times. And it's like, again, like they know they can get away with that. That's what it is.
Right. Do we want to talk about who's in this?
Yeah, some of them are interesting picks. First off, I just want to say we have another big return in one with, and there's a couple people returning here, but Mindy Sterling has appeared quite a few times now. She does only additional voices in this one, but she was in the first Grinch from 2000.
Oh, yeah.
She was also in Mars Needs Moms.
Yeah, I remember.
There might have been a fourth one she was in. That might be it for now.
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, like, 2 Grinch movies.
Interesting that she had additional voices in this. I wonder if she maybe did a cameo or something in reference to her original performance in The Grinch.
Was Tara Strong in Rhapsody Street Kids?
Probably.
Because she was in this.
It does not appear so. We got Jimmy and Timmy doing additional voices today.
Oh, yeah. This is the true Jimmy Timmy Power Hour. Nah, maybe she wasn't. Maybe Tara Strong hasn't been on the show yet. I thought that we covered something with her in it, but maybe not.
It doesn't look like we have. I don't know. I'm sure if you go through like all the additional voices, you'll find someone who's been here before.
Right.
Benedict Cumberbatch is making his first appearance, and I don't know how often we're actually going to see Benedict Cumberbatch, because he is mostly in good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would cast him as the Grinch. Like, I could think of like 20 people I would cast as the Grinch before Benedict Cumberbatch.
I almost feel like he would be, if he was doing an impression of the original Grinch, he might have fit better, but it feels like he's going for the Jim Carrey Grinch with this, and he does it very... At the start of the movie, I was almost open to what he was doing. I was listening to it and thinking, like, oh, maybe this is gonna work. Like, it wasn't so obvious to me right away. I'll say that much about it. But as the movie continued, I don't know if it was the write-in or just the voice alone, but, I mean, it wasn't just the voice alone, but, Yeah, I wasn't into it. I wasn't into what he was doing. To me, it was, like, way less obviously bad than something like The One Slur to me, or Zac Efron voicing the boy. Like, it was just like, that didn't work at all, but I did have to take a second to like see how I felt about it. It wasn't like immediately like, oh, that's not right, that's horrible, but it doesn't work as a whole.
I mean, yeah, I think it kind of contributes to the overall blandness of the character. Benedict Cumberbatch is not like weird or cartoony enough to bring the weird cartoony energy that the Grinch needs. That's why Jim Carrey was great casting, right? 'Cause, he's famously a very cartoony actor. He was The Mask, and I think The Mask is what, like, got him the role as the Grinch, even, because he could perform like a cartoon in real life.
Every time I talk about that movie, I bring this up. So I'm sorry if I sound like anyone listened to a bunch of these episodes. I sound like a broken record, but like he worked with the makeup. You know who didn't work with the makeup? Michael Myers or Mike Myers. I don't know if he goes by Michael, but anyway, because Mike Myers, like the performance makes me laugh, but his face looks very, and it is like you could say the Grinch makeup was just better, but at the same time, Jim Carrey is so fucking expressive that he is working through multiple layers of makeup. You know, his face is moving with the makeup because he is so fucking animated all the time. Where Mike Myers doesn't really do that.
And you know what? You know who else doesn't do that? Despite being animated, this Grinch. He is a less expressive Grinch than Jim Carrey, and he is a cartoon.
You called it out. One of the most expressive shots of him in this movie was his shadow. And it wasn't that good. It wasn't, like, great.
He's, like, walking upstairs monologuing to himself, and he gets this, like, crazy evil shadow behind him, and it's like, that's the Grinch. Where is that in, like, the rest of this movie?
It feels like that's what the Grinch going up the stairs should be, and then the shadow should be something even more exaggerated than that. But yeah, it's just so bland. God damn.
Everything about it.
But yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch, I don't know. It doesn't work, but Cameron Seeley as Cindy Lou Who.
She has not been in much.
No. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the way the character is written. It's very bland. It's very whatever. It's not terrible, but it's not good either.
Cindy Lou Who is one of, like, the better parts of the movie, which doesn't make her good, but, like, I cared more about what was going on with her and her mom than, like, any of the Grinch shit. And I didn't even really care about her and her mom at all, but...
I think I was equally invested in both. But I'll give you that. It's just, I mean, you know, I'm not going to go after the performance. It was a kid actor who did fine.
Yeah.
It's just that they didn't really get anything. They didn't really get anything fun to work with.
I think they could have done this character a lot worse, but they also could have done this character a lot better.
I kind of prefer... I don't know if this is going to be a hot take, because I'm not, you know, it's not like this was like a highlight of the live action one. I think I prefer the Cindy from that movie.
Probably.
Just in terms of a motivation. I'm not even saying performance-wise, because I don't remember her performance in that movie, really. But it was just like, yeah, with the way they wrote the town to act, I thought the idea of her was captured a little better in that movie, where it's like she is... kind of questioning what the holidays mean to her, because the town is kind of losing track of what the holidays are supposed to mean to them, you know? So I felt like I think she served her purpose better in that movie.
Yeah, I think she has a more interesting story in that movie.
Yeah.
I think it feeds into that film better, because I feel like she is kind of central to that Grinch adaptation, because she is sort of the motivating force of the whole plot. And, like, in this, she just has, like, she teams up with her friends to capture Santa. I don't know why she needed her friends, frankly. I think she could have done this on her own. Her friends are just there to, like, kill time in the movie.
The thing is, I think it's Illumination kind of looking at another movie again and trying to be like it, because there's a lot of movies where the group of kids get together and they're going to form a plan together. You know, it's like the kids on their bikes and everything. It's another trope. But normally when you do that, you give each kid a unique personality, so their banter with each other can be fun to watch. You know, think of Stranger Things or It or anything like that. Not that this movie is like trying to be like those specifically, but it's just, you know, it's trying to make the group of kids so they can do like a fun story. If that, I can't tell you anything different about any of them. They all act exactly the same. Like, yeah. None of them have unique personalities. They were just thrown in. Like, really, it's like after the scene where they team up, the only scene that I really remember them having after that is them like trying to get like over explaining the cookie bit, you know? They're trying to get their friend to grab the cookie with a rope tied to it.
Yeah. I think that's all they do. I think that's all they do in that. I think they disappear after that. And probably they're there at the end, but, like, they don't do anything important at all. No. Rashida Jones is Cindy Lou Who's struggling single mother. I thought there was a chance they were gonna make her and the Grinch date, but apparently even that was like too much for Illumination. The Grinch can date a human in the live action movie, but not in this one. Well, a who, not a human. A human. I think the Grinch and her mom should have just dated. I think that would have been a better resolution.
I never, and I mean, I'm not like, I personally never saw it going that direction. I didn't think that's what they were building to. But would have that been more interesting? Yes.
Yeah, because
it would have been something. That's the only reason, because it would have been something.
The Grinch was like so inspired by her that he like fulfills her Christmas wish, actually. At the very least, he should have like, there should have been more established like, oh, I'm going to be helping your mom with stuff.
I mean, yeah, that could be what he's like doing now instead of just living on a mountain. He could be, but then they might have wanted her job to be like something, because I think she's a nurse or a doctor. Is that what it was?
I don't know.
I don't remember. When she gets on the bus, it looks like she's wearing scrubs. Anyway, it's not really that well explored. I mean, it's a job where you're overworked.
You know who is a returning actor, though?
Who?
Kenan Thompson.
Yeah.
He was a cop in Hubie Halloween.
I like Kenan Thompson. I enjoy Kenan Thompson a lot. I think he's very funny. This movie like is trying to use him. I like when I see the way that the lines that they wrote for that character, it feels like someone's like aware that the character was written for Kenan Thompson with the way they talk, but it's also just like nothing funny is said.
He is one of the characters that has the most going on. He's just like the Grinch's annoying neighbor that like he thinks he and the Grinch are friends, and the Grinch like low-key hates him. It goes back to him not being mean enough, right? Like, it just kind of seems like he has no reason to hate this guy. If he were more of an asshole, it'd be like, well, yeah, he's a fucking asshole. Of course he hates this guy.
Yeah,
instead, he just
that's exactly what I was gonna say, for sure.
He just kind of comes off as like, dude, what's your problem? Come on. Pharrell
Williams as the narrator.
Fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Awful narrate. Like, genuinely the worst performance of the film. It's the narrator. Why would you get Pharrell Williams to be the narrater? And he doesn't even like sing at all. Here we go again, casting another musician and not having them sing a song in our movie.
He's not really an actor, is like the thing. Like, it was a bit, they shouldn't have casted him. I'm looking at his filmography and all of it is either listed as himself or composer. I think the only thing that I see him as like an actual character is he voiced a character in Sing 2.
And you know what? I'm sure that character was just like singing briefly. Singing a Pharrell Williams song briefly.
Probably.
Like, you needed a much stronger voice for like a narration.
Yeah, it just didn't, like, it's not, there is an art to narrating.
The original Grinch, the Grinch is voiced by Boris Karloff, but it's also narrated by Boris Karloff. I think Benedict Cumberbatch would have been a better narrator.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
I don't even think he's doing great in this movie, and I think he would have been a better narrator than Pharrell Williams. He probably would have been better as a narrator than as the Grinch.
Yeah, I think Pharrell is just like, I'm more prone to blame the people who picked him than him, because this is just not his job. You know, he doesn't do this. They asked him to do it. I could imagine him in that recording booth being like, what? Sure? Okay. I'll do it. Then he does, and he's like, did I do a good job? And they're like, yes, amazing, Pharrell. And it's like, there's a reason he hasn't been doing more voiceover work. You know, it's just not what he's good at. I've listened to some of his music. He's a good musician, but like, yeah, he's just not an actor. He's a composer. He's a musician. You know, he's not even acting that much in this. He's supposed to be narrating, and he doesn't have a good storyteller voice. If he were at least singing through it, it'd be like, okay, yeah, no, he's a good singer. But no, he's just like plainly reading the narration. Just imagine some director working on a film and then there's like a guy adjusting the lights and he says, you will be the lead of my movie. It's like, it's just, and I get that it's like Pharrell Williams. It's like, oh, we can say that, like, that's another big name we can say is in the movie. But it's like, you already had him for music. So why do you need him to be a voice? You could still put his name on the project. Or maybe I guess he wasn't on for music. I guess he wasn't. I'm saying that because he's composer on so many other things, but Danny Elfman was the composer of this.
Yeah, and Tyler the Creator wrote the original songs.
Yeah.
I like Tyler well enough. It kind of feels like he knows what movie he's writing music for.
I actually know Tyler more from a show that Cass showed me called Loiter Squad, which is very funny. I don't know how much of his music I've heard. I've heard some of it, probably because of Cass even, but he's a funny guy.
I liked the album he put out last year, Chromacopia. That was a really good album.
Hearing about that. But yeah, I don't know how his music in this is bad. I'm just gonna say, like, the version of You're a Mean One in this, it's bad. I'm not beating around the bush there. It's just it's not appealing to listen to at all. I don't mind them going a different direction necessarily, but that was not the way to go. In fact, the live action one went in a different direction, and that was fun. That was still a fun scene. So yeah, like I get that you're not gonna recreate the classic song. It's just you can't, you're not going to be able to one up it because it was perfect for what it was. So you want to try something different, but this is just and everything about it was underwhelming. We already talked about how it was used in the movie. It's just like it felt like they were just getting it out of the way. Like this song is nothing to the story.
This movie got into Smash Brothers. This got the Grinch into Smash Bros. Because of this movie.
The Grinch link. The Grinch leak.
Yeah, because
they did not put the Grinch in.
I mean, I'm sure he's coming, like in one of the deals. I believe this leak. I believe this leak is true. We'll have Shadow the Hedgehog.
When I first heard about that leak, it was really funny because I was just reading about. I was doing something else and I was reading about it and I was getting annoyed. I'm like saying they're not going to put the fucking Grinch in. Why is anyone humor in this? And then I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, okay, it has nothing. It's just because it's called the Grinch leak because, okay, I get it. I thought that there were people genuinely considering the Grinch as a possibility for Smash Bros. Which they would know. I don't think he is actually. Maybe now he is. Maybe now because of the history. He is part of Smash Bros. History now.
I think we've made it to the voting.
Yeah, is there anyone else in the cast that we neglected to talk about?
Not quick? Really. It is mostly like additional voices. There are not a lot of like characters with names even.
Yeah, there really aren't actually. Now that I think about it. Yeah, I'm ready to vote. Can you guess which one I'm voting for?
Tell us.
I'm going to vote for the Grinch as the winner. It kind of feels like a shame to give this one a winning vote, but I do hate it less than the Lorax. I'll say one nice thing about the movie, and it's small. It's nothing big. But during the scene where he is actually stealing Christmas, there's some fun shots. Especially there's this long shot of him, like, you just see a bunch of Grinches going in for the house. You see the sack getting bigger and bigger. It's just a long pan-in shot, and it's actually kind of a fun, well done shot. So there's that. There's one compliment to give the movie as I give it the win. Still not it's bottom of the list. It's just above my bottom 10. It is just slightly above my bottom 10.
Well, I have it ranked exactly one spot above the Lorax. Because I think this is a better movie than the Lorax. It is nothing. It is a completely hollow, empty experience, but it doesn't annoy me the way the Lorax annoys me. And look, I think there are qualities the Lorax has over this one. I understand the argument for the Lorax over the Grinch, but the Lorax definitely bothers me a lot more than the Grinch does. The Grinch I just feel nothing about. Where the Lorax, while I might like some stuff about it, is like some really negative feelings towards that film.
Yeah, if you put on the Lorax and you have a good old time with it, making fun of it, like I do with Shark Tale, I get it. I get why you would say it's better than the Grinch. I get why you would say it's better than a lot of the stuff we watch here. I'm the jackass that has like fucking 8 Crazy Nights and Tom and Jerry the movie ranked as high as I do on my list. Like it's just I get finding a bad movie really funny, even if it's not necessarily a so bad it's good movie.
The audience is actually very against us They 79% voted for the Lorax versus 21 for the Grinch. I suspect some of that is nostalgia, like people remember watching the Lorax growing up. Maybe also the memes. I admit the memes have like kind of endeared me to the Lorax a little bit.
I've laughed at Lorax memes.
But I think it's our show. We've just watched these movies. The Grinch is, however slightly, a little bit better than the Lorax. We're gonna say the Grinch wins.
Now, with the Grinch trilogy, I'm trying to remember who won what. I think what it is live action Grinch beat live action Cat in the Hat, and the mean one lost to Pooh, Blood, and Honey. Is that right? Do you remember?
I believe that is correct.
Okay, so Grinch has 2 wins of the 3, so Grinch ends on a positive note.
Yeah.
He has 1 more than he has lost in this trilogy of Grinch movies. Now, please make a 4th Grinch movie so we can keep this tradition going.
The Grinch that stole bitches.
Well, we could do that.
Whatever the fuck is.
We'll just pair it up with another movie. We don't fucking know what it is. But it's one that's probably bad.
Yeah, maybe someday.
I know we got some more fun pair-ups for the future as you've teased, so I'll look forward to that.
Mm-hmm. This really is me when I have knee surgery tomorrow. Anyways, next time on Hollow Victories, it's January. We usually do like a kind of weird, obscure one in January. Previously, I've said this is because no one actually watched it. Like views are lower during January. But actually, the last few of these have gotten more views than usual, so I think that's a good enough reason to keep doing it. This one was actually recommended by one of our viewers. Well, one of the films was recommended by one of our viewers, not JPEG. Requested we do the 1993 film Skeeter, about a giant mosquito, and I'm like, oh, that's easy, we'll pair it up with the 1994 film Mosquito. So next time it's Skeeter versus Mosquito.
Okay.
2 films from a year apart about giant killer mosquitoes.
Sure. Okay, that's different. That's definitely, yeah, it feels different from what we've been talking about lately, so I'm all for it.
Yeah. I think this has been a pretty good year for Hollow Victories, honestly. Like, I was looking back at, like, what episodes we've done, and I'm like, no, this was, like, pretty fun, most of these.
Well, let me look at the last year, because, like, I really enjoyed doing a Seth MacFarlane and Trey Parker Matt Stone pair-up, just because that episode was more us talking about them than the movies, but I think that was, like, you brought that up, I think that is, like, a fun thing about it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Evil Speak versus Ice Cream Man episode. It was nice having Olivia on. We did the Titanic.
I loved the Titanic. I loved the Fantastic Four 4th anniversary special. We finally did your fucking April Fool's episode.
We got to do Fred and Smosh too, which is another one of the first ones I ever pitched us doing. But Zardoz and Barbarella, like, I genuinely liked both of those movies.
Yeah.
I finally got an excuse to sit down and watch Rocky and the first Rambo movie because of the Rocky IV
still haven't
First Blood.
put the Out of the Ring out yet. It's low priority.
Yeah, it's been a very good year for Hollow Victories, I would say.
Yeah. I look forward to more.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's really looking at it. Like, yeah, I think the only episode that doesn't stand out to me from the last year of episodes is just the Double Team versus Double Impact. And I remember having fun doing that episode. I just don't remember the movies at all.
Yeah.
Like, they left my head.
Yeah, that was a fun enough one. I guess then for my co-host Makal Shadakal, I'm Matt Presents. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. We'll see you in the next one.
Peace be with you.